Are you making conscious money choices? Our discussion this week has been around making conscious money decisions, be it around spending, investing, buying a home, renting a home, buying a car, selling something, whatever it is that you are making a decision around when it comes to money. Are these conscious and aware decisions, or are you just following some social media influencer? Are you just following a tip given by a friend or a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group? God knows what all there is. Or is it an aware and conscious choice that you're making? Remember, personal finance is not a one-size-fits-all kind of solution. So when you hear something spoken in general media, or when you hear something spoken in social media, whatever it is, you have to question and see whether the solution makes sense for you, because personal finance has a lot of you in it and a very little of anything else in it. Okay, and making conscious choices is all about recognizing that what you want is also important when you choose what to do with your money. So whether you choose to invest in fixed deposits, whether you choose to invest in mutual funds, whether you choose to buy stocks, what are you doing it for? Where is the you in this money decision? Now, whether you choose to spend on an expensive 2 lakh rupee watch, or whether you choose to buy inexpensive shoes for your regular wear, this is all a choice that you are making. But is it a choice that is suited for you? Let's take an example of this, highly discussed decision around buying a home versus renting a home. And everybody has their own view. And, it can work for some, not work for others. We know this, right? But how do you make this choice a conscious, aware decision? Firstly, you have to consider all the kind of known variables. So when you are buying a house, are you buying it on a loan? How much loan are you taking? What is the interest rate? What is the total interest cost? Will you be able to prepay that loan, or will you have to bear the entire interest cost? But more importantly, how much does it mean to you emotionally, mentally to buy the house? How much does it mean to you emotionally, mentally to buy the house now? Or can you wait slightly longer? When you're renting a house, also you have to ask these questions, right? You have to understand why you are renting the house. What is the purpose? Is it that you're renting because you want to live close to work? Is it that you're renting because you want to move into a bigger space? Have you had a dialogue with the landlord or landlady? Whoever owns the flat, your equation with that person is going to be very, very important. It is very important because you may think you want to stay in this house for the next 5 years, and the landlady may have plans to sell the house in 2 years. That kind of mismatch can cause upheaval in your life. So are you really making a conscious choice, or are you just going in for the least cost rent because you hear that renting is better than buying a home, especially if you're moving jobs? Make conscious, aware decisions. How can you do that? Well, I have 3 things that I would like to share with you. When you're making any kind of a money decision, firstly, question yourself. Why am I making this decision? What are the benefits of this decision for me? And what are the disadvantages of this decision for me? If you're making a big spend, first, you can even write it down. Write down, how does this big spend benefit me? How does it make me feel when I'm buying it? How does it make me feel a day later? How will it make me feel 5 days later, 50 days later, 500 days later? What will I lose? What will I not gain if I make this spending choice? How will I feel about it today? How will I feel about it 5 days later, 50 days later, 500 days later? Question yourself about every money choice you're making, and how does it match and align with your own internal values, with the values of your family? How are you risking or not risking your family by making certain money choices, certain investment decisions? All of those things you need to first consider. So before making any kind of big money decision, question yourself on the why and on how long this why will sustain in your life, right? How long? So you may have an answer to the why, but is it a long-term sustainable answer, or is it just something which is momentary? Secondly, question the party which is opposite you, right? So especially when it comes to investments, or even when you're making big spends, somebody is selling to you, right? So you have to question, what is the motivation of this person to sell me this product, right? Have they come to you to sell, or have you gone to them to buy? Especially when it comes to investment products, you need to question that, is the person selling you this investment product, how are they going to benefit? How are they going to gain? If they are going to gain from the fees you are paying them for their advice, then it is in their interest that your wealth also grows according to the advice that they are giving. Then yes, you can say that, okay, there is an alignment. If they are going to earn solely from the product manufacturer, the person who is kind of managing the mutual fund or the insurance company or whatever, then there is a chance, there is a possibility that their interest is in getting that commission and not really valuing your journey in wealth creation. So you have to counter question it. Maybe that's not the case, but you will not know unless you consciously ask the right questions to understand what the motivation of the seller is. Whether it's, you're buying, say, an expensive watch and they are trying to upsell and sell you an even more expensive watch. What is the motivation there? Are they really trying to get the best product fit for your personality? Or is it just that they are trying to make, a heavy sale so that they get a commission? So try and judge and make yourself aware of that. The last thing you need to do is question the risks. How do you question the risks? What will happen? There are no guarantees in life, right? So you can lose your car to an accident. You can, somebody can steal your car and you've just bought an expensive car. Investments can decline in value. Even if you have bought a stable interest-paying bond, there could be a default from the company. So you have to kind of ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen with this? Okay, if you take a house, if you buy this big house because you want to own a house and you take a huge big loan, what is the worst that can happen? If you lose your job, how are you going to be able to repay the loan? Will you have to, give the house back to the bank because there's a mortgage on it and you're not able to pay the installments? What is the worst that can happen with this financial decision? How have you covered yourself against this worst? How have you prepared so that if the worst case scenario does play out, you are somewhat cushioned and prepared to take on that risk? These are very important things. Firstly, question your why. Secondly, question the other person's why, the other party standing across you, their why. And lastly, question the worst case scenario, which in other words, what I'm saying is figure out the risk of the decision you're making. Obviously, this kind of conscious and aware decision making matters most when your spends are larger. Small spends we don't really care about. But once you start making these conscious choices with the larger spends, it automatically trickles down to your smallest spend, and soon you'll find that all your money decisions are conscious and aware. If you are being spontaneous, if you are spending a lot, even that is with the awareness of why you're doing it and how it impacts your financial well-being, your financial health. So next time you're making any big money decision, stop, take a pause, and make the choice to make aware, conscious decisions based on the whys and the risk.